Hi all, it's Nikki from Plant Parenthood. Sorry for the quality on the audio on this. My mic is broken, so I am narrating over this. I have a Krinkle 8 here that part of it was not doing well in a pot that I had, so I pulled it up and I cut it into pieces. And I'm going to propagate it and start it over. I was going to lose this plant, so I only can do better and get some more propagations out of it. So let's create a new plant. I put it in water after I cut it because it was overnight and I didn't have a lot of time in the evening and I didn't want them to die. So I've taken them out of the water and I'm going to put them in sphagnum moss. They kind of are growing funky because of the way that they were growing out of the pot. They were growing downwards. As you know probably about me, or if you don't know, I don't trellis a lot of my Hoya. I like the trailing look, and I know they don't get as big and they don't get as pretty as if you trellis them, and a lot of them do appreciate the trellising. I just don't trellis too many of mine. I do trellis some, but not all of them. And so this one grow kind of funky. So I'm looking here to see where I should cut them, and I'm looking for aerial roots, and I'm looking to see where the nodes are. So I'm making that first cut, and of course they're growing kind of funky, so I'm having to decide where I'm going to cut. Cutting there. And remember, with any Hoya propagation, it doesn't work really unless you have the node. I've heard some people say that they've had success growing from just the stems, but I don't believe that. It's never happened for me, and everybody I talk to says that that won't work. So if you've ever propagated one from just a stem, I'm curious to know. But nodes are the way to go. As long as you have a node on there, you have a chance of successful propagation. And I'm contemplating here because it's going to grow kind of weird and that leaf is weird, so I'm going to cut it. And then I have a propagation that goes up like that. You'll notice some Hoya Krinkle too. I'll get to that in a minute, but so here I am, and the nodes are really, really close on this plant, so I'm having to get selective about where I'm going to make those cuts. Again, making sure that every single leaf has a node. The Krinkle that's on the table, you might have watched my Hoya Krinkle propagation. The squirrels tipped over my pots. It could have been the dogs, let's be fair. And I found those on the ground the next morning, so I'm going to do those after this video. So back to the Krinkle 8. I'm having to make those really narrow cuts. Oop, drop one. But I'm having to make some really tight cuts. But I'm making sure that I'm grabbing them with the nodes. And since both of those leaves are healthy, I'm going to propagate those together. These I decided to cut because of the way that they were growing. I didn't think they were going to really be successful. So I'm grabbing the sphagnum, I'm wringing it out. It should have the texture of like a wet kitchen sponge. That's how you know it's about the right moisture. And I squeeze it out to put them around the roots, and I wrap them up kind of like a little burrito and tuck them in. And I water them pretty well thoroughly after I do this, but the reason I wring it out is to make sure that I'm getting good contact with those nodes when I make those little burritos. And also I want to know how they're going to fit in the pot when they're semi-moist. The sphagnum is semi-moist, so that's why I do it the way that I do it. Plus, the sphagnum is way easier to manage when it is super wet and you wring it out. It's just more pliable and it cooperates. If it's too dry, it gets crunchy and you get air pockets, because you're trying to prevent air pockets, but not get it so tight that the roots won't be able to grow. Hoya roots are very delicate, and so you have to give them medium when you're propagating, whether it's sphagnum, whether it's soil. You have to give them a little looser of a compact, either in soil or sphagnum, because their roots are not hardy or abundant a lot of the times. Mainly because they're epiphytes. Oh, I lost the note on that one, so I can't use that one. Epiphytes aren't parasitic, meaning that they don't attach to plants and rob nutrients from the plant, but they do rely on other plants to cling to, and that's how they get their nutrients, is when the plant gets watered. So, all right, we're going to do that one and see how it goes.